Welcome to our program. Today, we take a journey back in time to the golden age of ancient Greece, to learn about one of the most revered philosophers in history, Socrates. Born in Athens in 469 BCE, Socrates was a curious and inquisitive soul, with a mind that thirsted for knowledge and a heart that yearned for truth. Despite being born into a modest family, he made up for it in intellectual curiosity and a thirst for knowledge. As a young man, he studied with some of the most prominent philosophers of his time, including Anaxagoras and Archelaus, and soon developed a unique approach to philosophical inquiry. Socrates' approach was based on questioning assumptions and arriving at deeper truths through dialogue and discussion. He was a master of the art of dialogue, engaging in deep and probing conversations with anyone who would listen. He questioned the assumptions of his fellow citizens, challenging their beliefs and values in the pursuit of a deeper understanding of the world. This approach was revolutionary in its emphasis on critical thinking and inquiry, later known as the Socratic method. Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." He believed that self-knowledge is the key to living a good life because it allows individuals to understand their strengths and weaknesses, their desires and fears, and their values and beliefs. By knowing oneself, individuals can make better decisions, live in accordance with their values, and lead more fulfilling lives. Another famous saying of Socrates is, "I am the smartest person because I know that I know nothing." This statement highlights the idea that true wisdom comes from recognizing one's limitations and the extent of one's knowledge. Therefore, by acknowledging that he knows nothing, Socrates shows that he is willing to examine his own beliefs and ideas and to learn from others. Despite his brilliance and eloquence, Socrates was not a wealthy or powerful man. He lived a simple and modest life, relying on the generosity of his friends and admirers to support him. He also served in the Athenian army and fought bravely in battles that tested his physical and mental ability. But Socrates was not without his detractors. He was often viewed with suspicion by the political and religious authorities of Athens, who saw his questioning of traditional beliefs as a threat to the established order. In 399 BCE, Socrates was charged with impiety and corrupting the youth of Athens, and he was sentenced to death by drinking hemlock. Even in the face of death, Socrates remained steadfast in his beliefs. He delivered a stirring defense of his actions, refusing to compromise his principles or betray his commitment to truth and justice. And so, Socrates' legacy lived on in the hearts and minds of countless philosophers and thinkers who continued to debate and discuss his ideas long after his death. For him, life was a journey of the mind, a never-ending quest for knowledge and truth that took him to the limits of human understanding. Thank you for joining us on this journey to ancient Greece and the life and legacy of Socrates. Until next time, keep in search of self to get to the truth. Keep in search of self to